In the last episode I visited the Whilton Marina to have a look around the narrowboat I just bought, the Grey Wagtail. The main purpose of that trip was to do an inventory of what was on board and work out what I needed for my first cruise. Coming up in this video, I make a real hash of getting out of the marina, I encounter my first lock, and I get plunged into the darkness of the Braunston Tunnel. I needed to move the boat from the Whilton Marina to the Croperdy. As the crow flies, the marinas are only 14 miles apart, and as a crow can fly at roughly 25 to 32 miles per hour, that is about 30 minutes. By car it's about 17.5 miles, so again about 30 minutes. However, by boat it's 30 miles and 30 locks, which would take at least 15 hours. I could walk the distance in about 10. I'd allowed myself 5 days for the trip, as that was all the time I had available. The planned route, after leaving the Whilton Marina, took me up the 7 locks of the Buckby flight in the first mile and a half. The next challenge would be the 1,873 metre 1.2 mile Braunston Tunnel, followed by the 6 Braunston locks. If everything went to plan, I hoped to moor at Braunston on the first night. However, 13 locks, a tunnel and 5.5 miles in an unfamiliar narrowboat was a big ask for the first day. For the second day I planned to continue on to the Oxford Canal and moor just after the Marston Dolls locks. That would be 7 locks of the Napton flight and 2 at Marston Dolls, a total of 9 locks and about 8 to 9 miles of cruising. I planned to moor up just after the Marston Doll locks. Another big day. I then planned to finish off the trip with a cruise through something called the Fenny-Compton Tunnel, although it didn't look like a tunnel on the map, and also the last 8 locks. Could I really do this in 3 days? An added little bit of pressure was the planned closure in about 6 days after I set off, for about 6 weeks, of the locks at Braunston and Napton. And once they had reopened, the locks at Whilton Marina were closing for another 6 weeks. No pressure then. So here goes, my first cruise on the Grey Wagtail. The first problem I faced was getting the narrowboat out of the marina. I'd never driven the Grey Wagtail before, and I had certainly no experience in a 57-foot boat. This was going to be an interesting challenge. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to show you the full 15 to 20 minutes that it took me to get the boat out of the marina. I will speed things up.
Well, this is it, my first day on the narrowboat, and here I am trying to get it out of the marina. The aim here, of course, is not to hit anything else. At the moment, I appear to be doing an 18-point turn. The aim is to reverse it down the marina this way so that I can get out of the marina under the bridge over there. I just need to straighten it up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, looks like I'm going to do it this time. Am I out of the marina? Come on. Come around. And we're out of the marina and onto the Grand Union Canal, and we're already coming up to our first lock. Okay, here we go, first lock. So this is the first lock of 7 before we get to the Braunston Tunnel. And then once we're through the Braunston Tunnel, I think it's another 6. Another 6 locks before we've oh, bit of a bang there. I get thrown around in this lock quite a bit. And of course we could do without this drizzle, but that's the way it goes. Boat moving day in the drizzle. Okay. Oh, because I knocked the gear stick. Well, that's the first lock done. Now coming up to our second lock, very short pound this. Luckily for us, the lock has been left set for us. In the last video I said I'd be single-handing these locks, but I've actually got a lock helper with me today, so that is making my life a lot easier. I'm making a bit of a hash getting into this lock. There we go, that's got it. At least it stopped raining now. Wow, this second lock is seriously leaky. Great having lock helpers, and somebody's also joined us in the tow path. Second lock of the first cruise. Wow, that's coming in so fast into this leaky lock. This is the one they're going to be repairing in January, I guess. It's coming in so fast through the leak, I doubt they're going to have to open the paddles. I certainly won't need to open them much. second lock of the day done. Okay, interesting, the people who are operating the lock here for me have only opened one of the gates. Thank you. You've got more faith in me in getting through that gap than I have. I've only been on this boat for 45 minutes. Oh, which way are they going? I'll go the wrong side of them. Cheers, thank you. Okay, straight on to lock number 3. And again, it looks like it's only one gate open, so clearly some people have got more confidence in my boating skills than I have. Oh.
You can hold yourself to the side so it doesn't bash.
Okay, I did. Okay, so this is lock number 3. Not as leaky as the last lock, much better. And I can already see lock number 4 through the bridge. And this is lock number 7, the last in the flight coming away from the marina. Next stop is Braunston Tunnel. My lock helper has done a great job, but some of these locks are incredibly leaky and have been very, very difficult to fill.
As we left the top lock, I noticed the CRT equipment by the side of the canal ready for the repair of the Whilton locks. And just past the CRT equipment were 2 fantastic narrowboats moored up by the side of the canal. Absolute little gems. With incredibly shiny paintwork. And it was good to see a signpost, so I knew that I was going in the right direction. The views along the canal were stunning, absolutely incredible. It was a great way to see the countryside. Now, this was part of the trip that had me worried, the Braunston Tunnel. Why would a tunnel worry me? Well, I'd only previously taken a narrowboat through one tunnel and I found the process very difficult. I found the dark disorientating and I was surprised at how hard it was to steer. The wash from the boat bounces off the irregular walls and the bottom of the canal to push the boat around. I was having to constantly correct my steering in a straight tunnel. And what if I encountered another boat in the Braunston Tunnel? The CRT gives the tunnel width as 3.81 metres or 12 foot 6 inches, which doesn't seem wide enough for 2 narrowboats to pass. The Braunston Tunnel is on the Grand Union Canal, about 830 yards, 760 metres east of Braunston Top Lock. The tunnel is 1,873 metres or 2,048 yards, which is 1.16 miles long, with a width of 3.81 metres or 12 foot 6 inches, and a height of 2.29 metres, which is 7 foot 6 inches. The CRT gives an average transit time of 37 minutes. The tunnel was built by Jessup and Barnes, with the work completed in 1796. It was amazing to think that the tunnel and the cutting to the tunnel were all dug by hand. That was a huge amount of work. The tunnel was opened at 2 p.m. on the 21st of June 1796 by, and I quote from a plaque near the tunnel, a committee of ladies and gentlemen preceded by their chairman, William Praed, Esquire, MP. 2 flags and an excellent band of music embarked on 2 boats attended by an immense concourse of people. Sounds like a fun afternoon. The plaque can be found on the western end of the tunnel and was unveiled by Tim Boswell, Esquire, MP on the 15th of June 1996 at 2 p.m. to commemorate 200 years of the tunnel. The tunnel's construction was delayed by soil movement, and it has been suggested that this led to the tunnel having a slight S-bend. Now, I only learnt about the S-bend after I had been through the tunnel, and I think it was this bend that caused some of my feelings of confusion in the tunnel, as I couldn't see the end and couldn't work out why the walls seemed to keep moving towards and then away from me. Obviously, the tunnel has no towpath, and so the horses would have been led across the top of the tunnel, and I have a video showing the path they would have taken. A link to the video is in the description. With no horses to pull the boats, the narrowboats would have been powered through the tunnel by legging, a process in which 2 men would lay on boards at the boat's bow and power the boat through the tunnel by walking along the walls. A tough job. In the description below you will find a link to an unedited version of the tunnel journey and a link to the video about the horse path over the top. Now that I look at this video, I can definitely see that kink in the tunnel. I wasn't imagining things. You can sort of see the kink here. The way the left-hand wall seems to sort of bow in a bit. And what I thought was the light at the end of the tunnel was the thing that I feared, another narrowboat. Would I be able to squeeze past it? And again, what I thought was the light at the end of the tunnel turned out to be another narrowboat. 2 narrowboats in the tunnel. Finally, what I was seeing was the light at the end of the tunnel. And back into daylight and on to Braunston. Our aim was to get to Braunston and more up for the night. However, we still had 6 locks to do, and that was a big ask because it was now getting quite late in the day and I didn't think we were going to make it. How far did we get? Did we get to Braunston? And then the battery on the cameras ran out. So how did we do? Well, we didn't quite make it. We left Whilton in the morning, we completed our 7 locks and made it through the Braunston Tunnel. But unfortunately we only covered 4 locks of the 6 down into Braunston, so we were just short of where we needed to get on our first day. In total we covered 6 miles, 11 locks and 1 tunnel, and so I'm pretty pleased with that. Well, that was my first day on the Grey Wagtail. Things went better than I had hoped. While we were 2 locks short of our target, we made good progress. I did make hard work of getting out of the marina, so if you have any advice to help a new boater, please leave a comment below. Thinking about it, it was a busy day. I was dealing with a new boat which was longer than anything I'd driven before, and I was getting used to videoing myself on the canals. It was a day with a very steep learning curve. One problem we had was lock 3, the 4th lock down the flight at Braunston. We could not get it to fill and it took us over 30 minutes to get through it. By then it was getting dark, so we decided to moor up. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. To keep up with the latest happenings on the Grey Wagtail, scan the QR code on the screen now to access the newsletter. And in the description below, you will find links through to 2 more videos about the Braunston Tunnel. One is an unedited video taken from the front of the boat through the tunnel, and in the other video I take the horse path over the top from the east to the west entrance. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and well done on getting this far. See you in the next video for day 2 of my first cruise on Grey Wagtail. Bye for now.